Welcome to Covering the Sports. We had to cover this all-time great debate. 23 versus 23. Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. The King versus the GOAT. It's impossible to pick sometimes. Sometimes it's LeBron, sometimes it's Jordan. It's a barbershop debate, cafeteria debate, and nobody can decide what makes the greatest the greatest. First, when you start off with LeBron, you got to talk about how he's been on TV since high school, been playing on ESPN since high school. He's been a phenom since about 2001. He got drafted overall 2003, one of the best NBA drafts in history, and he was number one. On the team, he was the only All-Star, even though he had Carlos Boozer for a little while. And he was going against the Pistons, the Celtics, and the Celtics were giving him problems. Not too bad, but it got pretty bad. 2010, he had to rehash, had to refine, and transition. That's when you get him teaming up with D-Wade, Chris Bosh, forming one of the greatest teams ever in Miami. One of my favorite teams, one of the most unstoppable teams, beating my favorite teams, the Chicago Bulls. But they ended up winning 2 championships, but ended up losing to the Spurs. That's when LeBron decided to hit up the Cleveland Cavaliers once again. It was a reunion. He ended up winning another ring, and he won one with the Lakers. Michael won a ring in college, then became the best player on the team in college later on. Got drafted 3rd overall in a historic draft. Instantly hit the league, one of the best stars you ever seen. Sports Illustrated cover, virtually unstoppable. Naturally, he created a lot of people who didn't like that. Didn't think too fond of it. Obviously, you had the Celtics beating him early on, the Bucks, mostly the Pistons. Until you get in 1987, Scottie Pippen helping him. Before that, you had Charles Oakley. Phil Jackson, Tex Winter. They made the team much better than what it was previously. Michael ends up winning 6 rings in total, of course, with the Bulls. As for playoff final matchups, the Sonics gave him the most trouble. Of course, LeBron, he had to go up against the Warriors and the Spurs, who gave him the most trouble historically. Michael's, career high, of course, is 69 points, going up against LeBron, 61 points against the Hornets. Ironically, Michael's career high is against the Cavaliers. So that's pretty interesting. As for Michael's best record, it was the all-time record for the longest, 72-10, until it was beat by, the Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry, Splash Brothers, Draymond Green and company. LeBron's best record was 66-16. That was about a year after he went to the finals and lost to the Spurs. MJ's last game was played in 03, and that was the year LeBron was drafted. So they kind of coincided a bit, but played in totally different eras. And which era is the best is always up for debate. Personally, I picked the 90s. LeBron's the scoring leader, so as far as scoring goes, he's pretty much been the most consistent in history. But Michael Jordan scored 37.1 points per game in 1987, so he's still the GOAT. Plus, he had 2 three-peats. He retired in the middle of winning 3 championships, then came back and won 3 championships again. But LeBron won championships on different teams, so as far as, which one you think is better, that's up for a debate. To me, it comes down to all perspective, depending on what you would choose. If you drafted LeBron over Michael, you wouldn't be lost. I would pick Michael, of course. I got my reasons I'll make for another video. But LeBron is still actively in the league, playing, putting up records, putting up historical numbers. So LeBron may surpass Michael. He's still playing, so you never know, especially with athletes, sports. That's what makes it great. But Michael is, as they say, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, and he's been the greatest of all time for about 30 years. So who knows if it'll ever change. But if you could draft LeBron, Michael, Kareem, who would you draft number one? I personally would draft Michael Jordan, but you couldn't go wrong drafting LeBron either. Stay tuned, subscribe, like for the content. This is the first video. Forgive me for the errors, but we're gonna keep it raw. We got more content on the way. But yep, like and subscribe.